Well, good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. It's great to be here with you this morning, the day after Valentine's Day. Singles Awareness Day is what they call it. I thought that was yesterday for a lot of people. We had a great show yesterday. I want to talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here. Good morning, Benjamin.
For instance, I learned yesterday that that Barry White song for Foreplay is very tame compared to some of his other repertoire.
Extremely tame. Ben did read Love Serenade yesterday, and it was very dirty. It was Ben Reed's romance. Drew says Ben looks pissed about something. He's not. He doesn't feel good. Everybody is a little bit under the weather. The vibes are incredibly low in the Ben and Woods studio right now on a Thursday morning. We do apologize. But yeah, no one feels great. I
feel fine.
Paulie feels fine, but he had a rough morning.
Yes.
Benny is losing the pipes. We both sucked down some Alka-Seltzer this morning. So how do you feel? Is it kicking in yet?
A little bit, yeah. I think I'm on the right direction, at least at this point.
Your tolerance for Alka-Seltzer has gone up since the early days of the show.
Give it a minute.
Of the show. All right.
We're not quite there yet. I just finished it a couple of minutes ago.
You got to wait for it to kick in.
Really.
Yeah. It's like acid.
Have its entire effect.
Is it coming? It's coming. Is this it? Right? No, not yet. Do you feel anything? No? All right, a little bit. Don't just relax. Don't fight it.
Everyone's feeling it. And Jeter in the chat says he forgot his phone at home. I mean,
it's just a weird morning.
You can't even do your day without your phone
little
anymore.
Package.
Yeah, street version. Is there some special street version of Alka-Seltzer? It is a throwback Thursday, after all, here on Ben and Woods. But yeah, we're trying to right the ship in here. It's weird. I talked to Paulie yesterday, and I go, honestly, man, we need to get our bodies and heads right for spring training. We're going to be out there in a couple of weeks. And I said, but we don't have a bench here at 97.3 The Fan, so it's not like you can be, hey, just call in another show to come in and do it. Maybe we just get the tier ones in here. Just say, you tier ones come in and hold the ship down for us while we're out.
Funny you should mention that. If you would look at your rundown, we do have a Throwback Thursday segment later today.
Oh, is it the
We
day?
literally did that 2 years ago today when we invited a tier one.
In the intro.
Yeah.
Oh, Daimyo. Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. It was like the worst radio in history. So maybe that's not a good idea. I'd rather have us at 10% than a tier one that has no idea what he's doing. Because again, this job is a job that everybody thinks that they can do. Dude, I did a podcast. It's the same thing. It's not. It's not. I love podcasts. I think, there's a lot of talented podcasters. This is a different animal. It's a different beast entirely. I've said this before, the two greatest loves of my life, baseball and radio, which are two things that every human being driving around this morning goes, I can do that. I can manage baseball. I can manage a bullpen. I know exactly what to do. I can do a radio show. I mean, I think I've proven, and we'll hear it later, it's not that easy. It's especially not that easy when you feel like a big old pile of poop. And that's exactly how most of us are feeling last night.
How did Valentine's Day go for you guys? Mine, I spent most of it in bed, which usually you'd say that must be a great Valentine's Day. Not necessarily the case.
Alone.
Yeah, alone in bed.
Which can be fun. It can be fun in bed alone.
I got to give a shout out, first of all, to SD.
Is that coming later?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I mean, what time are we doing that?
I put it in our 9 o'clock hour.
Okay. Yeah, just get on the air and just do shout-outs. And that's so
I got to give a shout out, first of all, to SD.
It's so compelling. Shout out, everybody. You can't do it, man. You can't do it. So you got to...
Shout out to the 15 freeway.
Right. Just shout out to all the different landmarks around San Diego.
Shout out Escondido.
Shout out to Cardiff Reef,
Shout out La Mesa.
Shout out Encinitas. I mean, it's the worst
Shout
radio
out
of all
South
time.
Bay.
It's the worst radio of all time. It's the
Shout
worst
out to
radio.
Gaslamp District.
So, yeah, it was, mine was fine. I mean, with kids, it's not an important enough night to take, to get a babysitter and go to dinner or anything. We ordered in. Hannah didn't even eat what we ordered in. So we just kind of plowed through it, to be honest. I went to bed at 6:30. Got in bed at 6:30. Hit a little syrup, went to sleep. I woke up feeling a little bit better this morning, but you feeling bad makes me feel bad. And Paulie had a rough morning. Paulie, what'd you do? You spilled your coffee everywhere.
Yeah, got a little bit of a late start, but
You got-
nothing prohibitive.
Right.
And let's see, I couldn't find the clothes I wanted to wear today. Digging around for those. Spilled my coffee. Got into some construction. The middle of the night construction on the freeway. Realized I needed to get gas, so I just had to pull over, grab some gas real quick. I'm like, oh my god, kill me.
The coffee spill is a nightmare. You've done it. I've done it. It does not set your day up in a good
And I was like,
in a good
well,
manner.
I got to get gas anyway, so I guess I'll just bring it in there and fill it up.
It's so bad. So you laid in bed and did you not go to work last night?
I did not.
You did not? Good for you.
I was actually off last night, though. I have to go back tonight. We'll see how that works.
Oh man, yeah. It's
Gonna be like a library in here every time Ben talks.
I know it's gonna
Talk like this. Everybody just be quiet.
I just want you to feel good.
The reference section is over there.
And you both are very, very loud right now. You do sound kind of sexy when you talk low and deep.
Read those Barry White lyrics now.
Yeah, take off that.
I think it was pretty good yesterday, but yeah,
It was really good.
Today we are definitely
We
feeling sexy.
I got a nice DM last night from Stephanie Daly, who we had on the program yesterday in the last segment of the day. And she goes, I had so much fun doing the show with you guys. And I said, well, we had fun having you. She goes, thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone. And I said, well, thank you for pushing us out of our comfort zone as well. And I think it went over really well. Paulie said the chat got kind of gross, so he had to turn the chat up. Like, come on.
What's wrong with you people?
It's just, come on. It's a pretty girl. You don't have to.
It was like starting to get weird, as it typically does when we have a female guest on sometimes.
It's like you've never seen a girl
and
before.
then there was like 2 comments. I won't repeat them. And I
Something
just said,
about Kleenex.
You know what? That's it. We're out.
We can't do this. Come
turning this
on.
off. This poor girl is like on the radio for the first time. She's nervous as hell. The last thing I want is for her to see those comments and just spin out of control.
100%. You can't expose her to that. But she was great, and I said, well, thank you for pushing us out of ours as well. It was a lot of fun having her in, talking about something different, talking about relationships and whatnot. And I thought she did a really, really great job.
It's interesting because she exudes so much self-confidence when you're out there and you're putting yourself out in public with the content she's creating on camera all the time, that someone could be out of a comfort zone just talking on the radio like that.
Yeah.
It was very humanizing to hear you say that.
Very, very much. And so I told her she's welcome anytime she wants to come on. God. And then she posted, people were commenting, oh my gosh, I heard you on the show. You did such a great job. You'd love to have you on. You should go on again and again. I said, man, anytime we need some stuff for relationships or whatever, a female's perspective, certainly could turn to her. I thought she was amazing and did a great job yesterday. That's really like, I loved it. I thought it was really, really fun and different and exciting, and it's fun to do different things at times. Now, today's going to be a little bit more challenging here on Ben and Woods. We don't have any guests lined up. We did reach out to Jenny.
Well, we got Sammy, right?
We got Sammy, yeah.
Sammy.
We did reach out to Jenny Kavnar. I'm sure she is slammed right now with requests. And, I mean, what she's done, Jenny Kavnar is going to be the new play-by-play for the Oakland A's. And I'm sure she's slammed. I'm sure there's every radio show in town's trying to get her on, or across the country as the first woman to get that gig. That's a pretty good deal. So I have confidence we will catch up with her at some point.
No doubt. We will get to her eventually, but I don't think she can even keep up with all the DMs and texts that she's getting right now.
What can I do to make you feel better?
I think you've already done it. You've handed me your medicine supply.
Yep,
you
I
set
have
me
a
up
lot of
with some
medicine.
Alka-Seltzer. I am.
This is just
this
the
is
first
as good
step.
as it's going to get.
This
I
is
think.
the first step. These are gateways, just so you know.
This like some special street version of Alka-Seltzer.
I'll never forget that day. I go, Benny, it's just Alka-Seltzer. And he was like, I don't know.
That was like a month into the
It
show.
was a month into the show. And he was like, I don't know. I feel different. How you feeling right now? Good at kicking in?
Yeah, a little bit.
You starting to see tracers or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No,
All right.
no. I think I'm getting better.
Yeah, good. All right.
Is it bad to look at the clock and just see how much is left? 3 hours and 50 minutes left
No,
in the
we're
show.
good. Just to take it one
Tick,
segment
tick,
at a time.
Tick, tick,
Just
tick,
one
tick.
segment at a time. I like the chat is going off right now. You can watch us on YouTube. If you're so inclined, go to youtube.com, search for Ben and Woods. You can hit the subscribe, join, whatever, like the show. People are in there gifting memberships right now, which is just incredible.
Sweet angels.
They're trying to turn the vibes around. Yeah, man. Look, we're going to do the best we can today, certainly, with everybody feeling at about 25%. But I will tell you, I am a little nervous about spring training because when we talked to Sammy yesterday, excuse me, when we talked to Sammy yesterday, I said it to him. I said, all the good questions are being asked right now. We're dead. When we get out there, it is straight up going to be like, what kind of music do you listen to? What do you like for breakfast? Do you wear boxers or briefs? How do you put your toilet paper roll on? I mean, it's going to be the dregs of the earth. I cannot go out there in 3 weeks, Ben, and ask, or 2 weeks, and go, so what happened last year? How do you make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes last year? What's your approach going to be? What have you worked on in the offseason? I'm dead. I don't know what to do.
I mean,
and you told us so. You told us.
You have to realize that not everybody will have heard every answer, but you have to ask important questions while putting your own spin on them at the same time.
Like
make it spooky.
Make it spooky.
Yeah. You can interview Mike Schilt, but we'll make it spooky.
Ooh. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. We will. We always get there, and then
there could be new news between now and then as well. Maybe we'll show up, and the Padres will make a couple of big moves, and we'll have lots to talk about when we get there.
That's exactly right. So we'll get into everything we heard yesterday out at spring training as well. I liked what Fernando Tatis Jr. had to say yesterday. I liked it a lot. I think he's, again, somebody tweeted, we're watching him mature a little bit in front of our own eyes, and I think we are, which, that happens the older you get. I'm way more mature, hard to believe, at 48 than I was at 38. But I loved it. I love seeing him have confidence going into camp. Said his confidence is through the roof. So I think you need a confident Fernando Tatis Jr. if you're going to win ball games, and I like where his head's at right now.
I think it's pretty clear that the Padres aren't going to have a good season unless Fernando Tatis Jr. has a really good year.
100%.
But honestly, even if Juan Soto was still here, I think the same thing is true, that they were always going to need Fernando Tatis Jr. to have a good season in order to be successful. So nothing in my mind really changes about that, and the reports are all good. We'll hear from Fernando coming up, some of the comments that he made yesterday. We'll get to that later here in our first hour.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I spent a lot of my day yesterday doom scrolling the timeline, and it's tough. It's tough out there. What happened in Kansas City for the parade. It's just a hard situation to process, and it's an even harder situation to talk about. I've tried before, and I think,
the fact that it's a polarizing topic.
It sucks. That's the worst part.
Awful.
I mean, when the shooting in Uvalde, Texas happened, I came in and I lost it, man. I got 2 kids in school, and I lost it. I broke down, and the next thing I know, I was being called a woke libtard, and so I think honestly, like, the position it puts me in or us in is just thoughts, prayers. That's all.
No, we'll give that a shot again.
Yeah, just thoughts and prayer. I don't know what to say. So I see it here on the rundown, and I spent my afternoon doom scrolling it, and I'm reading people's comments, and there really shouldn't be two sides of this thing. I mean, our citizens are being gunned down in public places. I don't know when that became political. Those are human lives. It sucks. And it really messed my head up for a lot of the day yesterday. And it's one of those things that drives me away from people instead of bringing us together. And so it really bums me out. I hate to see it. There's a guy that tweets out the list of places where it happens, and you see it getting bigger and bigger, and it's like grocery store, movie theater, church, mosque, synagogue, now a
Super Bowl
parade. We're running out of places, people. We're running out of places where we can gather as Americans and brothers and sisters. We're running out of places. It's also part of the reason why, hey, why don't you go out and do anything? Because I want to be at home, because I'm a lot safer in my home than I am really at anywhere. But I do offer my thoughts and prayers to those people. I'm sick. I'm sick of it, and I'm sick to my stomach.
I feel like we can have a discussion that isn't necessarily overtly political, and talk about this subject, because I don't think either of us are extremists.
No.
On either end of this issue. There are people who are extremists when it comes to both getting rid of guns and making guns incredibly available to everyone, and neither of us fall on either of those ends of the spectrum. So I think there's a spot somewhere in the middle that we can have a discussion about that coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. Let's take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of the sound that we got yesterday from Padres spring training, set the menu for the rest of our program. Getting started here on a Thursday. Glad to have you with us. You can bear with us a little bit with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Got a spring training injury to update you guys on. Don't get alarmed. Don't get alarmed. It's just my dad. He's going under the knife this morning, right? In 7 minutes. Got the old Tommy John, my pops, this morning.
Like really?
Really Tommy
UCL
John.
replacement surgery?
Yeah, my dad, Gary Woods, little Tommy John this morning. He's hopes to be back.
Too many innings on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
arm?
I was thinking about it, and I'm like, is this my fault? Because I used to make that dude throw me pop flies that were, I'm like, higher. No, higher. And he would go down all the way up, throw. I'm like, I think this is mine and my brother's fault. But my pops, Gary, is going under the knife this morning. And
So he's out of the rotation for 14
yeah, I
months
mean,
or
I
something?
think,
How's that going to impact his next contract?
it's tough. It's tough. He retired, but has been thinking about making a comeback. This is going to slow that down for sure. And, he's not getting any younger. And but these guys, the surgeons are really, really great at what they do. He's a little worried about nerve damage in his hand, so they're going to get in there this morning. A 12-inch scar, Benny. That is a foot long. They're putting a foot-long Subway sandwich scar on his arm. The dude is a beast, man. So love you, Dad. I hope we need you back in the rotation at some point. So don't rush your rehab.
Now, is he going to Dr. James Andrews, one of the best?
No, he's in somewhere in Dallas, I think. So they're great. They're great.
Ed's Discount House of Tommy John Surgery.
That's one place he will not skimp on is the doctor. But love you, Pops, and I know you're going to be feeling good soon.
All right, good show coming up today.
Is it?
Well, we're going to be a little sound heavy early. Keeps me from talking, which is a good thing. But we're going to hear from Fernando Tatis Jr., who spoke for the first time at Padres spring training yesterday. Get to hear maybe a new attitude from Fernando Tatis Jr. I think we both kind of liked what we heard yesterday.
Big time.
From Nando as he gets ready for what could be a pivotal season in his career coming up. So we'll get some of that audio coming up. 7 o'clock hour features Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday. We'll try to qualify someone for a trip to Las Vegas. Don't do this. I want to tease this because I didn't really understand it, and I finally found an article in The Athletic that explained a little bit. Why are so many baseball players upset about the new uniforms at spring training this year?
I've been seeing this, and I didn't want to wade into the argument, but people keep posting pictures, Ben, going one next to the other and going, this is egregious. And I go, I don't know which one they're talking about. I didn't, and so I just didn't say anything.
I'm not a Jersey guy, so I can't really tell the difference, but the guys who do know, the players, the ones that are unhappy, they spoke to The Athletic, and now we've got a little bit more as to why some of the players are unhappy with the new Nike uniforms that are going to be worn this spring, certainly, and then probably during the season as well. So we can throw that in Don't Do This. Sammy Spring Training will be with us at 7:35 from Peoria, Arizona. Daily check-in with what's going on with Padres at spring training. Then the second half of the show will continue our Tier 1 tour. We're still in the AL East. Today we'll take a look at that always frugal but efficient organization, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Nobody does it better, frankly, in that
Probably will win a
department.
bunch of games with a bunch of guys that you don't really know who they are this season, as they always do. We'll take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays. Randall Report, and we got some SDSU basketball tickets to give away to tomorrow night's game against New Mexico at Viejas Arena. So
another big one.
All of that coming up on the program today.
How you feeling?
Not great.
Not great. All right, what else? How about water? You're drinking coffee. You need water. Caffeine, I think, is bad for you right now. You need to just be flushing your system with water.
I can only take small sips, though, and I want to have, there's a little sugar in here. I feel like I need some calories because I haven't really eaten much the last few days.
That is not going to help you either. You want me to go make you a Pop-Tart?
Not really. Oh, by the way.
Oh, yes. We forgot yesterday.
Yes, we did.
I'm so sad. Guy lived a hell of a life. The guy. Fred Pop-Tart.
William Post.
William Post. I made Fred.
Like Post
Pop-Tart.
Cereals and Post breakfast foods.
He died.
That was actually his name. He was in his 90s and he passed away. He invented the Pop-Tart.
The guy he's an MFing genius. I mean, that is one of the greater food inventions that has stood the test of my dad's generation, my generation, your generation, Paulie. My kids have eaten Pop-Tarts before. They're often imitated. They're never duplicated. My wife bought those Trader Joe's ones before. One bite, I was like a Frisbee. That's not even close. The guy was a legend.
So when he invented them, he originally called them fruit scones.
That's maybe the worst
but
idea
then they
ever.
Decided, let's go with
Good
a bit of
move.
a jazzier name that might appeal to kids. and they came up with Pop Tarts.
William
And
Post.
I believe it is William Post.
Yeah, 96 years old. That dude died.
Shout out to his family.
100%. Thank you for so many Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings getting up, just going, this is what I want. This is what I want. I want a strawberry frosted Pop-Tart, or I want a cherry frosted Pop-Tart. The guy crushed it. Crushed it. The 4 original flavors, Ben. Strawberry, blueberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and apple currant. They sold 3 billion Pop-Tarts in the year 2022. 2022.
That's amazing. That's a Pop-Tart for almost half of every person on the planet.
What was he worth? $700 billion? I mean, he's a legend. So he passed away, 96.
Post cereals include Honey Bunches of Oats, Golden Crisp, Grape Nuts, Honeycomb, Pebbles, and Waffle Crisp are among the cereals that his company also had on the market.
What a legend.
Net worth of $8 million.
That's it.
That's it? Oh, my God. He must have made some bad decisions, some bad dealings.
Maybe just spend it all. There's no reason to get to 96 and take it with you.
How high on your own supply would you have gotten if you were the owner and inventor of Pop-Tarts?
How did you gain all the weight?
Yeah, you know how I gained it, Larry? I invented Pop-Tarts. That's how I gained all the weight. That's why I'm a fat turd, because I've eaten Pop-Tarts every single day for my entire life. But yeah, we forgot to mention that yesterday, so shout out to his family for sure.
All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Fernando Tatis Jr., some of the sound from Padres spring training yesterday in Peoria. That is next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. My man can't, he just, I don't know that he can handle his, I mean, I can't even call it drugs. It's just Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer.
Look, my kids take Alka-Seltzer, but
He's messed up.
he's dizzy. I think maybe we just send him home.
I think that's probably.
I'm not, I'm like 3.5 hours.
Can you wonder if they
Can they see out there?
Yeah.
Can they see him? He's laying on the couch out there. He just is toast, man. He is toast right now. Oh, Paulie put it out. There he is, out on the couch. If you're watching on the YouTube feed, man, he's having a rough morning.
Poor guy.
I think we just send the dude home. I mean, what are we doing here at this point? We'll just wear it. We'll wear it. We've been there.
Oh man,
poor guy. You should just get him out of here.
Yeah, go.
Benny, just go home.
Go home.
Benjamin, just go home. Can you drive? He's waving us off.
All
right. Yeah.
Well, we tried.
EST3 says, I remember when he went home and his nose was bleeding.
Yeah.
Because he's out cold. We all have that friend, right? You're like, oh, did we give him too much? I think we did. It's just,
It's Alka-Seltzer.
Paulie, it's Alka-Seltzer.
What was the other one that I could feel this Advil
I
kicking
can feel
in?
the Advil kicking in. He just is he has a pure heart, and he has a pure, his innards are pure. They've never been sullied by things like acetaminophen that don't really affect guys like myself and you. And,
Right.
you know, it's very weird. Jocelyn is a nightmare. Jocelyn, our tier 1, just says, make him eat a bean from the wheel first.
Oh, that's
I
just
mean, that
mean.
is like, look, that is like, I couldn't even do that. It might actually kill him. That is straight up evil. So maybe we'll let him. Maybe we'll let him sleep for a couple of segments and he'll feel better. But, I mean, the guy burns the candle, at both ends. He did not have to work last night, so he did get some rest and got in bed early. Said he had the chills and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm a little bit at a loss. But I guess we'll just plow through,
I mean,
Paulie.
he is out.
In the spirit of Ben Higgins, no one plows through better. That's exactly what we will do here on Woodsy and Paul this morning.
I during the commercial break, I hate this. But we were just talking about the inventor of the Pop-Tarts,
Yeah.
Bill Post.
Bill Post.
As he was known. And he passed away the other day, and we have talked about this before. We have this thing called the old prep service, and the prep service is what your favorite radio station doesn't want you to know about, because
Right.
they mine a ton of content from this every single morning. And people have DM'd us and go, oh my God, you guys told me I would hear this segment
On another show.
He goes, I heard it verbatim on another radio show in town. We're like, yeah, it's
That's exactly
bunch
right.
of hacks.
It's the crutch, man. That's the crutch.
So I was flipping through it during the commercial break, and they have the top things overheard at the funeral of
Bill
the
Post.
inventor of Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
First one here. Instead of a cremation, his body will be toasted.
It's not bad.
He gave the world so much, like diabetes.
That's maybe a bit harsh. I mean, I ate them. I don't have diabetes.
He's a great man, but despite his frosty exterior, he was really sweet on the inside.
That's good. That's not bad.
His legacy will live on whenever a parent doesn't love their child enough to make breakfast for them.
Yeah, I'd say that's actually dead on balls accurate.
Tony the Tiger, another Post Foods creation. Tony the Tiger sent flowers for his grave.
All right. I think that's enough of the...
He didn't die. He exceeded his sell-by date.
He expired. These are terrible. Absolutely
It was
terrible.
so sad. He was on a ladder working on his house, and then there was a snap, crackle, and pop.
Nope. All right. I'm done with that. So what we were going to do here,
We'll do this after traffic. Fernando Tatis Jr. met
Okay.
with the media yesterday.
and his vibes are very high. Whatever we are, he's the opposite of right now.
I'd say that's accurate.
All right. We'll play that next.
Pretty much every sense of the word.
Let's check traffic with the great Kelly Danick.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Looking pretty good on our roads at this time, guys. Might still see some fog around various parts of the county, but at least not really causing you any problems. Everything looks great out of the South Bay. East County rides starting to get a little busy. That westbound 52 got some company coming out of Santee. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Thank you, Kelly Danick. So yeah, they got Fernando yesterday, and he was. Let me look at the list here. There we go.
Start from the top.
Yeah, start from the top. Asking him, Fernando Tatis Jr., about his expectations this season.
Last year kind of being like a practice year, and the numbers were okay. Should there be any question that you'd be back to being Fernando this year?
I just want them to see. I don't want to put any words out there, but I'm just going to say I really have a really good offseason. My confidence is through the roof, and I just want them to sit down and see what I'm going to do this year.
I like that because
Fernando having confidence through the roof, that makes me excited for the season.
it's the game is so brutal and it's so mental. And when you have the natural ability that he has, if your head is if you're doubting yourself at all, it's like the most impossible game ever. I mean, you cannot survive, and you have to be okay with failing. It was his first season back, after the suspension, after the surgeries. And I love that he put in work in the offseason. I had no doubt that he would. He loves playing baseball. And I think that was kind of my whole thing all season when people were upset that he was going to play in the Dominican League. And I said, man, I will never, ever get upset with a baseball player playing baseball. And if he gets hurt, it wasn't meant to. I don't know what to tell you. Like, they're not going to sit in a bubble. I want my players engaged in that game. And I think one thing we forget about a lot of players, now there are players out there in the big leagues that are like, this is a good gig, I make a ton of money, but, I don't really love the game. You can never deny that kid's love and passion for the game of baseball. You see how he plays it. He plays it with his hair on fire. He plays very, very hard. He is a showman as well. He is all of the above. So him going into the season with some confidence, yeah, I mean, we need him. I think when I look at Fernando Tatis Jr., I look at him and I'm like, there is no way that guy couldn't go 50-50. Seriously, he's got every bit of the talent in him to go 50-50. I don't think Manny Machado is a 50-50 guy. I don't really think there's too many other players that are.
Very few are.
But I look at him and I go, yeah, like I don't expect that from him, but he's certainly capable of it. He's got it in him, certainly.
Well, he talked about his off season and playing winter ball down in the Dominican Republic.
I think it was a great offseason, especially playing back in winter ball. I feel like I needed to fix a couple of stuff in my swing, and I definitely did. I feel way better than I did last year, and talent plus work ethic. This offseason work ethic, I feel like is going to be special.
Do you feel like that you had last season after missing so much time, like this is the season kind of where you can take off?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year it was more getting back on track, see how I was going to bounce back after all those surgeries, trying to, my left arm, see I was feeling during a long season, and, it was a battle, but at the end of the day, I feel like we took control of everything that we can, and but now this year is totally different on what is preparation and what I'm aiming for.
What did you need to work on, that you could do down there that you couldn't do in the hurry of the season last year?
It's just, just actually giving yourself the time to work on your swing, on work on stuff, because during the season, you're just looking for results. You cannot sit down and trying to break down your swing, fix what you're trying to accomplish during the day, but in the off season, working with the people that know your swing, with my dad, with my uncle, that definitely built me up. I feel like it's an A+.
What were some of the things you think you fixed with that swing?
Just little details on my swing. I feel like I could put it into words, but I feel like that's it's like a samurai getting ready for war. I feel like I cannot put it into words.
Like a samurai getting ready for war. That's maybe my favorite quote of all time. Yeah, dude. I expect great things from him this year, and I know he expects great things from himself. Let's skip the one, Paulie, about the platinum glove. I want to go right to number 4 when they asked him what position he thinks that he'll play this year.
Right.
It's gonna be right field. Probably we were talking with Skipper. Like probably right at center at the same time, but definitely gonna happen. But it's gonna be right field so far.
Do you want to play center field? Is that a position that you prefer, or would you like to just stick to a corner?
That was AJ and the manager, asked me that same question during the off season, and we sat down and I went straight to them and I said, I feel like right field in Petco Park is more important than center field, and we were just thinking and talking. I feel like I can do a way better job in our right field in Petco than me playing center field, and I feel like right field is the spot for me right now.
How much did playing right field last season shape that opinion? Did you have that opinion before you had done that?
No, actually not. But when I got back there and I really paid attention to the dimension of our ballpark. I saw the difference, and I was catching fly balls center field and right field, and I felt like I was able to run more and right field, cover more ground. It's just we just need to have the right approach in the outfield now this year, that maybe they could even let me a little bit cover more ground, and center field and left field and skip a little bit to the corners.
I like that a lot.
He's really
too.
put a lot of thought into that.
He has, and
I like that.
And I saw, I saw a couple people say, "Oh, that's the wrong answer." You're supposed to say, what you're supposed to say is, "I'll play wherever they need me." That being said, that's a guy that knows where he's best suited, and I don't. It's funny. I don't get the same vibe from him as like when we asked people where they want to hit and all that in the lineup. Like he just won a platinum glove out there. You just moved him. I have no doubt that he could play center field. I have no doubt that he could play left field. I have no doubt that he could play third, short, second, first, or maybe even close a game if you needed to. Honestly, like there's not too much on the baseball diamond he can't do. I'm just fine leaving him there. And I know people talk about value, and the corner outfield guys are much easier to find allegedly than a great center fielder. I know also
it's not that they're easier to find. I do think center field is more of a premier position.
It's up the middle.
And
you want to be strong up the middle?
You always want to be strong up the middle, and he is our strongest player.
But he can still be strong up the middle playing right field, and I think that's what he's saying. He's going to be able to cover more ground to his right in the gap. He can cover more ground down the line. He has the dimensions. He likes it. He's happy. He was engaged last year. He was massively engaged. He ran out. He did the airplane. He was pumping the fans in right field up. He's got the best arm out there. That's where you want your best arm is in right field. He can make all the throws. He should have had probably, if we had good umpiring and catchers that could catch, he probably would have had 6 to 8 more outfield assists than he had last year. Yeah. He will hose a guy at first base this year. I have no doubt about it. He is an elite right fielder. He's proven that. Let's stop tinkering. At this point, you want to make somebody a center fielder. You want to sign Michael Taylor. Go do that. But let this kid play right field and be the best in the league, which he was last year defensively. So platinum gloves do not grow on trees, man. Like it's just so hard to do, and he did it. So I love where his head's at. As with every single player, please he's going to take care of himself. I just hope no freakish injuries or anything like that happens, and he is out there right field, ready to go. I just don't think you mess with him. I really don't, and I understand the value of being strong up the middle. But yeah, man,
the problem is right now with our roster, because I agree, you do want your strongest arm in right fielder. In right field, you typically have your best glove in center field. Well, we only have 2 outfielders, so he's our best glove.
We've got 3 now. We've got Jerks and Profar and Sugar. So
okay, sorry about that.
But again, he can cover.
He is still our best glove. He's our best arm. He's our best bat. He's our fastest speed. Like he's everything in the outfield.
That's exactly right. So if it were me, I'm not moving him at all. I'm just letting him play and to go out there and be the best right fielder he can be.
If we end up going with the youth movement and AJ doesn't go out and acquire a prototypical, standard center fielder, say, would that change the equation at all? Would you rather have Jackson Merrill on the corner instead of getting his first taste of the big leagues in center field? And then you know what I mean? Like, does then that open that conversation up with Fernando?
Honestly, man, I just think for me, he's proven he can do it. Just because he can play center field doesn't mean he should. And I do agree with what he says. There's a lot of ballparks, I think, and I think Craig was talking about this yesterday. There's a lot of ballparks where, the right field, the power alleys, like he can get to. There's no ground he can't cover out there. So I'm down with just leaving him out there, man. I really am. And he knows what he's doing now, and he's invested. He's bought in. Moving him out there again could affect his performance at the plate.
Don't want that.
I expect just huge things from him. Let's stop jockeying guys around. Let's kind of figure out what the next 5 years is going to look like, and whether that's Jackson Merrill out there or Jackson Merrill's on a corner and Sugar's in center. That I'm absolutely fine with him playing right field. Is that it from Fernando? Do we have more?
We have one more. He talked about what did he make of all of the off-season changes?
It was tumultuous.
It was a horrible off-season. Really, any way you looked at it from this organization, what were his thoughts on how everything transpired over the last few months?
I feel like it was kind of a sad not kind of, but it was definitely a sad off season, by the passing of Peter, and it was a dagger straight to our heart, not just to the player, but to the city of San Diego and any people that met Peter. And then after that, I feel the game is going to take care of itself. I feel like AJ is going to build a team that we can compete, and I trust him. So we're just going to go out there and give our best.
What should the mindset and the approach of the team be this year coming after last season?
Just come together, togetherness. I feel like that's going to be the bigger part, and play right baseball games. Just do what the game is asking us to do. Just forget about our egos and who can do better. It's about the team and how can we perform together.
Well, I don't know how you hear that as a Padre fan and you're not excited about that. No, he's not talking about getting his personal numbers and I want to do this and I want to do that. It is coming together. It is putting our egos aside and figuring it out and learning how to pull on the same rope together. So I'm excited to hear that. They're saying the right things. Really to a man out there right now at spring training, all of them, including the skipper and all the way down. And I thought AJ Preller, again, doesn't say a lot in his pressers. But there were a couple of little nuggets that we played and talked about yesterday that I look at and I say, all right, good.
At this point, if you see that AJ Preller speaks to the media now and you're expecting to get a bunch of information, that's on you at this point.
Yeah,
He's been here 10 years.
It is, right? Yes. Yeah, you can no longer get upset when he doesn't tell you exactly what strategy they're going to employ. He never has, never will. It's not like he's going to break out of it at some
some of those
point.
questions he was asked, about very specific players.
Right.
And that's not even an AJ thing. No GM is going to be yeah, actually, we just got off the phone with Scott Boras about an hour ago. We offered Blake, this.
Right.
That's just not how any GM does business. Those are stupid questions.
I will say yesterday, Chris Young, who's the GM of the Texas Rangers, who's just coming off a World Series, he did say, he straight out said, we're not adding anybody else. We're not doing it. They got kind of hosed by their TV deal as well. Now, again, that's a team that just won a World Series.
Yeah.
Now, does that make it easier to not add anybody, or does that make it harder? Of course you want to run it back. Of course your fans want you to run it back. But I thought, pretty ballsy for him to come out and be like, nope, we're good. We're going to run with the team, the guys we have, and that includes not bringing back Jordan Montgomery. We're not going to do it. So this is what we got. We're going to run this thing back. They have a really, really good team still, but I think they're lacking in starting pitching as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I do get the sense that AJ is still in the market. I've been told he's still in the market, still looking, still talking to teams about certain players. And that's, we'll see if anything materializes. But we may end up going with the guys we have, and that's going to make it really, really interesting. All right, 1 hour in the books, my friend. Benjamin is still on the couch. We will play Real or Fake. I don't have any of the info. Maybe he gets up and comes back to work.
Well, I can host it if we need
to. All right, if you can host if we need to. But we will be right back. It's Ben and Woods. Thanks so much for being here when we are at our we're at about 25%. We're going to keep grinding, though. that is my advice to Benjamin Higgins. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel here on Ben and Woods. I've gotten text from our big boss, and he said, get him out of there. I said, he's out of here. He's on the couch. He can't drive right. I got his mom texted me, don't let him drive. I'm not going to.
He is zonked.
He is not feeling good. I guess it's my fault. I gave him Alka-Seltzer, but it's Alka-Seltzer. I didn't give him mushrooms or anything. I gave him Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, Adam called me during the break. He goes, what's going on? And I'm like, he's asleep on the
sick.
couch. He goes, yeah, I called him. He didn't answer.
Yeah, he's sick. I don't know what to do. I'm a bit at a loss here.
I respect the guy for wanting to grind it out.
Yeah.
But didn't work.
Yeah, it's not working so far. So I can't really do anything. I could call him an Uber, I guess. But I don't know. Then he has to work tonight, I think, on Channel 10. So
you have to Uber back down here
to get his car
and then drive to Channel 10.
I mean, he seems pretty cozy.
It's
on
like
the couch.
when you fell asleep as a kid on the couch, and then your dad would pick you up and bring you. Wake up in your bed. You're like, what the hell happened? Do you think we can pick Ben up, drop him into an Uber while he's asleep, and he would have no idea, and he just wake up at his house?
He'd wake up at his house, but then he still needs to get his car and all his stuff. And, I mean, he is out like a light. Well, I mean, listen, you do what you got to do. Do what you have to do. Yeah, this is kind of an uncomfortable topic, but I did spend my day yesterday. Paulie actually is the one that hyped me to it. I'm also not feeling great. Went home and tried to kind of reset the brain a little bit, and took about a 15-minute nap and woke up, and Paulie had said, hey, there's an active shooter at the Kansas City Chiefs parade. Now, listen, when information comes out, you don't really know what's real. Was it an active shooter? Was it a car backfiring? Was it, you got to be very careful to jump to conclusions.
Eyewitnesses, I mean, it was timed out disturbingly perfect how it worked. It happened at the end of the parade celebration.
So they
were like coming off the stage. It was over.
So they did their speeches.
Yep,
they did their
they did all of that. Witnesses thought it was like, oh, that's fireworks, because it sounded kind of like fireworks.
Sure.
And then you realized quickly wasn't fireworks. And I went back and I was watching on YouTube. One of the local news outlets in Kansas City was streaming the whole parade live. They'd been going for 3 or 4 hours, and they were literally like signing off. They're like, well, what a great morning. Like, we're going to send it over to so-and-so here. And they're like, actually, hang on. And they're like getting information in their ears in real time. And they're like, we're going to keep it here. There's reports of something going on down at Union Station. And the details come out, throughout the afternoon that one person lost their lives. A radio host in Kansas City.
I saw that.
Lost her life.
Terrible. And
like over 20 other people suffered injuries, many of whom were children.
Yeah, I believe they said 9 children. This is our friend Mick Schaefer. We've talked to Mick Schaefer. He's the Ben Higgins of Kansas City, actually. He's a sports director at KSHB 41 in Kansas City. Mick is a guy we really love, and
he's solid.
He's solid as it gets. He had been retweeting some information into his timeline. He was down there as well. Mackenzie Nelson, another reporter, says the total victims is increasing. KCPD now reporting 22 gunshot wounds. 3 people are detained and under investigation by law enforcement. I did see a video circulating of a hero that saw one of the guys running, tackled him, held him there until
I did see that.
Until the police came. And again, we do what we have to do. The way I protect myself and my brain is different than maybe the way you do it. I can't. It's hard for me to dive headlong into, another active shooter. Let's get into this thing. And but I did find myself doom scrolling, and that panic sets in. And by doom scrolling, I mean just going up and down the Twitter platform, reading all of the arguments about, arguments for, arguments against, finger pointing. Well, it was these guys, it was this group, it was this, it was that. And I think, somewhere along the way here, we've lost the plot, certainly. And, when you're the host of a radio program in a city like San Diego, you have people of all walks of life that listen. And I love that. I do. I've been massively affected by some of this as a parent. It's my greatest fear, number one, of getting that phone call. There's an active shooter. I'll tell you, just as an aside, yesterday we went to my son's elementary school. They had a Valentine's Day party at 1:30. And we were all in the room, and this is after the shooting. So I'm kind of sneaking looks on my phone as they're making little friendship bracelets and eating cupcakes and stuff like that for Valentine's Day. And there's 10 parents in there, and there's 12, 13 kids, teacher. And we're in there, and I'm just kind of looking at my phone, and all of a sudden you hear, students, blah, blah, and you hear the loudspeaker. And your heart stops, and all the kids, shh, 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 shh. And all the parents trying to shush everybody so we could hear what they were saying. And your heart flutters a little bit. You're like, oh, boy, oh, boy. And it was an innocuous announcement about, hey, we raised this much money at the Jogathon this morning, and good job to everybody involved. But your heart stops. And, I know a lot of parents listen out there. I said it in the open. When Uvalde happened, with Sandy Hook, I was on the radio when Sandy Hook happened. I've never been the same, and I think a lot of parents feel that same way too. It feels like you are every day when you send your kids out, you're crossing your fingers, and that's not how it should be, especially at a school. And whether you love guns, hate guns, whatever it is, it's just not how we should be feeling as a country. And I don't know what to do. I certainly don't. I'm not calling for any sort of ban on anything or anything like that. I don't really particularly have a problem with guns. I own a gun. I use it to protect my home. It's not part of my identity. It sits in a safe, and that's what it's there for. And I don't get it out. I don't play with it.
There's also a difference between a gun like that and semi-automatic, fully automatic assault rifle.
Absolutely. And so it's just not an extension of who I am as a person. It's there for one purpose and one purpose only. But it breaks my heart, and again, I reference the tweet every day. When something happens, it's at a different place. It's at a grocery store. It's at a church. There was a shooting in Houston at Joel Osteen's church over the weekend. I didn't find out about it until I think yesterday, because it's just become so commonplace. And, I don't know what to do except for when we send our kids off to school, just cross my fingers and hope and pray that it doesn't happen. And, can't we all agree that obviously this shouldn't happen at a celebration parade for your team winning the world or winning the Super Bowl? Can we all agree on that? This should not happen. It should not happen at a grocery store. It should never happen. But you know what I'm saying?
And I do think the vast majority of people do agree with that. It's the very next part that gets split.
If you look at Twitter, but again, you get a guy like me going on Twitter and saying, which is why I didn't tweet anything, because what's the point? What is the point? Me getting on and tweeting my platitudes of saying, man, this is terrible. We got to do something. When it feels hopeless, which is why, probably will spend less time on Twitter today than I did yesterday. The feeling of hopelessness is a real one. And I know many of you can relate out there. I do believe that there's a mental health problem in this country. We're very open and honest about mental health on this show. I also I know what I pay to protect my mental health, and I know not everybody can afford that, and that's not right either. It's an exorbitant amount of money, but it's worth it to me.
Right. I'm going to therapy after the show today.
Exactly. I switched mine, Paulie, because it is so expensive that I'm like, that's a big nut to cover 4 times a month. Do I need it? Could I use it? Sure. But I'm just going to go every other week now. Yeah. And it's days like today when I could probably use it the most, because I just, all the parents out there, I'm with you. I feel exactly what you're feeling, and I don't know how to fix it. I wish I could.
It breaks my heart because, they say a generation is, 20, 25 years or whatever. And so when I was in elementary school, we would do lockdown drills once a year, just so you knew. And it was mostly if there was just a suspicious character on school grounds, you'd shut the blinds and hide under your desk or something like that. And now to know that like kids Bo's age are doing active shooter drills, that's not okay. I mean, I guess it's good to prepare.
You have to.
You have to prepare, but the fact that it's needed is what's not okay.
If you didn't, me as a parent, if you didn't do those, if they decided we're not going to do those, I'd be livid.
Right, but you didn't do that when you were a kid. I didn't do those when I was a kid.
No, I remember the most hardcore thing that happened when I was in like elementary school. Some dude brought a switchblade to school, and you would have thought that the world ended, man. You would have thought that it was over. I mean, people were like, oh, my God. We were not I'm from Texas, by the way. It wasn't, the gun culture wasn't huge there, surprisingly, when I was a kid at all. My parents never owned guns or anything like that. But, I saw, guys, there were 800 police officers there yesterday. 800. And nobody stopped. It was a common citizen that stopped this shooting yesterday. I knew the story that happened in Rancho Bernardo a couple weeks ago that was absolutely terrifying. God. They found a cache of weapons.
Down the street from my house.
A kid had threatened to shoot up the school. And great job by Rancho Bernardo police to go in there and say, no, this isn't happening. They took that threat seriously and probably saved a lot of lives. They did. It's hard to talk about this stuff because, again, when I came in after Uvalde, I was a wreck. And, the next thing you know, it's you're woke and you're this and that. And I said, man, I've never called for anybody to take or ban anything in my life. Okay? I got mad when they banned my flavored Zins, right? But it's just, as a parent, I feel like I'm flipping a coin every day. That's not a good feeling. It's just not a good feeling anymore. So I hope that they
I'm never going to stop wanting change.
Of course.
But
what are you going to do?
I've come to acceptance, really, I mean, after Sandy Hook, what was that, 14 years ago now?
14 years ago.
I mean, after that, you're like, well, if that's not going to get something changed, I don't know that it'll ever change.
That's why that's why the feeling of hopelessness sets in, and I'm not giving up, certainly, but you do get that sense every single day that, like, when is something going to happen? And that's what, listen, going to Twitter and saying, when will things change? There's no value in it for me anymore. None.
Dude, my wife and I, we aren't planning on having children, and I would be lying if I said that at least a factor in that decision is not what kind of world would we be bringing children into?
Right. Yeah.
It's scary.
Believe me, it's terrifying. It's, why do you wake up at midnight, Woodsy? Well, I'm constantly worried. I'm just constantly worried. I love all of you guys out there. Thanks for listening. I really want your kids safe at school. I want my kids safe at school. I think we can all agree on that. I think our kids should be safe at Super Bowl parades. I think our kids should be safe at church. I think they should be safe at the grocery store, in movie theaters, everything else.
Malls.
It is just really, really a hard time, and it continues to snowball. And listen, I saw the saddest tweet of all is, doesn't matter. I mean, this will be forgotten in 2 days. Then it will be. Until the next one happens. So I love all you guys, man. That's all I can say. I just it breaks my heart every single time I see one of these. And you do what you need to do to protect your head, your mental health. But yeah, the scrolling yesterday got me and really put me in a foul mood. And I apologize to my wife and kids because I was in a foul mood last night, certainly, and that was a big part of it. So sorry about that, guys. I wish I knew how to make you feel better or do whatever, but certainly open to having conversations about it. Let's push. We'll do real or fake.
Oh, we'll do that in like the 8 o'clock.
We'll do it in the 8 o'clock hour.
We're not going to do it now.
All right, let's come back. Let's do Don't Do This next, Paulie. I want to know, now Ben is the one that had this information, but I want to understand why people are upset about the jerseys that are going around Major League Baseball. I'm seeing players mad. I'm seeing fans mad. I don't personally understand it. I think they've changed a little bit. But is it, I'm seeing people that are livid. So I don't know. Maybe somebody can call in and explain it to me. I have no idea what's going on right now. We'll get to that next. And thanks for hanging out with us. Benny is still on the couch, out cold, my friends. Can't let him drive yet. But love you guys. We'll be right back. It's Ben and Woods. Don't Do This brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com. Benjamin Higgins is back in studio, but I think you're on your way out the door.
Don't do this. Don't come to work when you're apparently this sick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to head home.
Okay. Be careful driving.
A little bit better, though, which I think I can at least make my way back home now.
Okay. Take it slow.
I will.
No need to rush.
Thank you.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Okay.
Get your rest.
Yeah, get a little rest in you.
I better not see you on TV tonight.
I know. Better not be on TV tonight. It's like playing in the softball game after you call in sick to work, like I did.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that. You good?
Yeah, Steve Smith's out of town, so I don't have a backup, unfortunately.
I think they'll be all right. They'll figure it out. We don't have backup either.
Love you, Benny.
Better ones. Love you. Feel better, pal. Sorry I doped you up on Alka-Seltzer. I thought you could handle it. I guess I was wrong. But feel better and get home safely. Please text us when you get home. Let us know that you made it. I'm a little worried about you. You want to get an Uber, maybe? You sure?
All right.
Okay. It's a big, fat don't do this in here all morning here on Ben and Woods. Benny actually was going to do this story. So I was reading this article in The Athletic talking about the new uniforms, and it started a couple days ago. I saw Miles Michaelis, he's kind of he's loose with the tongue, I would say. And I kind of brushed it off because I said, well, it's Miles Michaelis. And he was complaining about the new uniforms that they got. But apparently this is a bigger deal than I made it out to be. Major League Baseball's on-field uniform provider is the new Nike Vapor Premier. Nike says the new jersey is softer, lighter, and stretchier than the previous model. And a lot of players are saying it's worse. It looks like a replica, said Angels outfielder Taylor Ward. It kind of feels like papery. It could be great when you're out there sweating. It may be breathable, but I haven't had the opportunity to try it out. It doesn't look like a $450 jersey. So far, thumbs down. You're talking to guys that haven't even worn them out on the field yet, though, right? They're like, I don't like the way it looks.
When you mentioned this earlier that there was uniform controversy, I go, have we even seen a bunch of guys out in the new uniforms?
I haven't heard anything from Padres camp, but maybe we're built different. Maybe our guys are built different. Maybe they don't complain about every little thing.
I've seen the yellow hats.
Yeah, I like those.
I love them.
I do too.
I think they're great. I want to get one.
But Nike has engineered, designed the jerseys. The Fanatics, who manufactured them, is getting a lot of blowback from the big leaguers right now. The complaints have reached the MLBPA, the Players Association. They are now involved in relaying the players' concerns. I don't know what they're going to do, but I do. There are people out there that go out and buy these jerseys, and I think they're saying as well they're not getting the quality that they wanted to. So look, it's an issue. The pants, I guess, too, Paulie, are a big problem. Tailoring is not on the table. Somebody said, Robbie Ray said, "You're telling me Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be on the field without painted on pants? Why don't you mind your P's and Q's, number one, Robbie? All right, you keep Fernando's name out of your mouth. That's number one. But Dodgers pitchers Yankees reliever Tommy Kahnle says he hates the new pants. I like the old ones. So the pants are bad. The jerseys look cheap. Baseball is off and running in the year 2024, Paulie.
Just crushing it. Love it. All right, we'll switch over to the NBA. Now, you see scuffles and fights and shoving and pushing all the time in sports. This took it to the next level yesterday because this actually happened before the game. This was, where was this? I don't know if this was in Detroit or Phoenix, but the Pistons and the Suns were getting ready to play, and Detroit Pistons center Isaiah Stewart got into a fight with Suns center Drew Eubanks like hours before tip-off. This was in
Phoenix.
The tunnel.
It was in Phoenix,
okay.
Yeah.
Hours before the game, in the tunnel, they got into a fight, and Isaiah Stewart was arrested for assault.
That is
yesterday.
Unbelievable.
And we've talked about this all the time. Like when you do see athletes like fighting in the middle of a game or something, you go, how come it just gets brushed off? Like if you just walk down the street and started a fight with a guy, that's assault. You never really see it actually play out that way on the field, on the court, on the ice, whatever. And he was. This says Phoenix police issued him a citation. He was released. but he was listed out for the game because of a sprained ankle, and then he got in this fight. I don't know what started this. I don't know what happened.
Well, it looks like Stewart threw the first punch. Yeah, I have no idea what the beef was.
Eubanks said it happened as he was coming into the arena. He said an argument started. They were chest to chest before Stewart threw that first punch. Security intervened. Eubanks said he was still fine for the game. He went on. He had 6 points and 8 rebounds.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, who's traded the Suns last year, spoke about the situation. He said, it's unfortunate. He said, we do have Drew's back. It's supposed to be a brotherhood. I also understand dudes get into stuff. We try to avoid that in this league. Hopefully we can move on from it. We all support Drew. So, yeah, that's not what you want, man, at all. Guys dusting it up down in the tunnel. It probably happens more than you know. But, yesterday, guy actually got a ticket, arrested, and issued a citation, and he's probably facing some discipline from the league as well. Oh, yeah. And then as far as doo-doo this, Paulie,
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
We talked about it already. We got some audio from the hero yesterday at the Chiefs parade who helped secure and stop one of the gunmen.
Paul Contreras.
Paul
I believe
Contreras.
is his name.
One guy was hollering and saying, stop him, or catch him, tackle him, whatever. And he's just bailing running. And out of nowhere, I heard that guy hollering, so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm right here. And I didn't even think about it. It was just a reaction. I didn't hesitate. It was just do it. So I went to go tackle him, and another gentleman did the same thing. And as I'm tackling him, I see his weapon either fall out of his hand or out of his sleeve because he was wearing a long jacket or like a Carhartt. So when I seen that hit the ground, I'm like, oh. We got to take this guy down. And so, like I said, I did, and another good Samaritan did, and we held him down. And it seemed like forever, but it probably wasn't. It was like 30 seconds holding him down, and me and the other gentleman are hollering at ongoers, where's the cops? Get the cops over here, get the cops over here. We got him.
I mean, literally, you can see the gun come out, and somebody propped it up against the wall. But holy cow, man! Well done,
hero.
Well done, Mr. Contreras. And you wonder, would I do the same thing? I mean, hopefully you're never faced with that reality. But man, that is really, really good. Good stuff by them. So very well done to Mr. Contreras. All right, Benny is going to be out. He's going to be heading home today. Sammy Spring Training will join us next, and we'll talk to him about all the goings-on out in Peoria. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Oh, welcome back. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Man, we are cruising in here this morning. Adam just came
firing
in.
Firing on like one cylinder.
One cylinder. Yeah, we've shut the other engine down, and we're on one engine right now. Benny is out. He just left. Adam came in. I don't know. It's frustrating, right? You want everybody to be feeling good, and but you also don't want to get your other people in the building sick. So it's tough. It's tough. So we will be here. We got Sammy Spring Training coming up next. Let's check traffic first. We'll be right back with him.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple of accidents in the North County. Southbound 5 Coastline before Santa Fe Drive at the slow lane block. Looks like there may be a vehicle in the center divide as well. And on or near the Felicita on-ramp to southbound 15, hit and run crash does not appear to be blocking lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so Sam Levitt joins us live from Padres Spring Training, presented by your San Diego County Toyota Dealers Association. We make it easy. Sammy Levitt makes it easy every single day. Good morning, Sammy. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Woodsy. What's going on there? I've not listened to
Where
the
do we
show this
start?
morning. Ben's not feeling well?
Yeah, he came in and he looked sallow and he looked like death, and he hasn't been feeling well. Nobody really has. I've been fighting a cough, or not even fighting. I've just been coughing for 2 weeks now. And just, you want to come in, you want to do the show. It's an important time of year. And you don't want to let the audience down. And Ben came in this morning, and I gave him some Alka-Seltzer, and I think it really messed him up. Which is weird.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So he is now, he took it to the house. Me and Paulie are going to try to hold it down for the next couple hours. Tomorrow is hanging in the balance, certainly, but we will see what happens if our little guy can feel a little bit better.
All right. Well, feel better, Ben. Feel better, everybody, and hope everybody is getting well soon here.
Now,
Sammy joining us on his day off?
And so today you have off. The Padres are off today. Give me the rundown here.
Padres are off today. No on-field workouts, from what I understand. There may be guys going in to get treatment, whatever it might be, but nothing formally today. Obviously, full squad workout tomorrow. Tomorrow is the official, full team report date. So most of the guys are already here, but you'll have a real workout tomorrow. I mean, as far as position players, the last handful of days since I've been here, everything is very informal, right? You'll have guys out there hitting, different groups out there taking ground balls, but not that full squad workout, no drills, no practicing, signs and plays and throwdowns and all that kind of stuff. So it has not been a formal workout, but that'll start tomorrow. But today, just an off day for most of the people around the complex. So nothing going on, and therefore I am not at Peoria Sports Complex. I'm enjoying a slower morning here in the Airbnb.
So what do you do on an off day, Sammy, in Peoria, Arizona? You're not a golfer, so you didn't bring your sticks to go out and play golf or hit Top Golf or anything like that. What will you do today?
That is a fantastic question. I don't know. I have to give it some thought, so if anybody out there has suggestions, you can put it in the YouTube chat or tweet me, Instagram me, whatever. But I don't know. Get some other work done, some videos I want to try to work on, maybe crank out a TikTok or two. And I don't know, maybe head over to Scottsdale, hang out there, maybe get a nice dinner, maybe hang out with some people here that are around the complex. So we'll see. I don't know. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. But enjoy what's a beautiful area here in Phoenix. Maybe I'll go to I heard Camelback Mountain is nice.
Very
so
nice.
I don't know that I'll hike it, but maybe I'll go over there. See
go
if
look
there's
at
any
it.
Sort of any sort of scenic view, maybe like a sunset I could watch from a scenic viewpoint. That sounds nice. So nothing big, but it's nice to have a little off day, and then we should be, rolling for at least a couple of weeks after that.
There's a great restaurant you should check out. It's in Glendale. It's not too far from the Cardinals Stadium. It's called Exotic.
Explicit. Right. It's very good. You will really.
Delilah, she's a great server.
You will really, really enjoy yourself. That is a promise. That's a promise. That will never let you down. Makes for an interesting afternoon, to be sure. Sammy Spring Training joins us here on Ben and Woods this morning. I loved, we played some audio from Fernando Tatis Jr. From yesterday. Love it. Head seems in the right place. What else tickled your fancy out there yesterday?
Well, I think, we heard some pretty interesting things, first from Fernando and then from Jake Cronenworth. So let's start with Fernando. I thought a very relaxed, confident-looking Fernando Tatis Jr., and I thought he was pretty transparent. Not that he wasn't last year, because I think it was pretty clear last year for as solid of numbers as he put up, considering the surgeries and considering missing a full year. I think we all sort of understood that, it was probably harder than he was leading on, right?
Sure.
Playing every day and getting back into the swing of being that kind of star and having that kind of talent, and trying to perform on an everyday basis coming off the surgeries in particular. So I thought yesterday he was very transparent about, how difficult it was last year. He said he was searching and searching and searching for his swing last year and really could never find it. And then, by the, next thing you know, it was the end of the season, which makes a ton of sense. So it sounds like he had a terrific offseason down in the Dominican Republic, obviously played for his dad in the Dominican League and talked about working on his swing with his dad and with the people that he's come up with. And we know that Fernando works with his dad a lot on his swing and working on different things. So it sounds like he had a tremendous offseason. He said his confidence is through the roof. And he talked about, defensively, everything he experienced and learned in right field last year. One of the lines of his, and he had a couple of really good one-liners, but one of the lines of his media availability yesterday was, basically saying that AJ, told him to bring glove and bring gold, and he brought platinum to the table,
so
right?
Good.
Yeah, great line. So, it was interesting to hear that it sounds like there was a conversation in the offseason, at least toying with the idea of what he prefers, center, right? Like, it does sound like some of those conversations were had, which I don't think was any secret. But it's, he wants to be a right fielder, at least for right now.
Sure.
And it sounds like that is, a comfortable spot for him, number one, and also, and it makes sense. He said at Petco Park he feels like right field is more important and there's more ground to cover. And certainly we saw him, cover a lot of ground last season. So, he's going to play right field. I don't think that's any surprise, but it does sound like those conversations did happen at some point in the offseason to get a feel of what he wants. And I also got the sense of, that might also be, it's something where, he's coming off this year, coming off last year where he came off the injuries, where he was coming off learning a brand new position and all of that, where maybe this year it's like, hey, I've got right field down. I'm really good out there. Let's focus on the offensive side of things and getting everything I can out of obviously what's a tremendous amount of potential. So, look, he seems confident and ready to go and clearly had a great offseason. And I'll say this, I know a lot of us have sort of, predicted that Fernando's going to have a monster year. What he said yesterday, and I thought his demeanor and what he said about his offseason, it did not quell any of that for me, right? It only kind of was like, yeah, he sort of seems like that, like he's ready to rock. So that was Fernando. And then Jake Cronenworth, I thought was really interesting too. A really, again, upbeat, relaxed Jake Cronenworth, which is not all that surprising in early February.
That's who he is.
Yeah, and you're right too. That's who Jake is for the most part, anyway. But he talked about getting vulnerable, and I thought that was an interesting word, vulnerable, in the sense of, coming off last season, coming off the injury that ended his season. It gave him some time to really sit back and then go into the offseason understanding that he had to make some changes. And he wouldn't get into the changes in particular in his swing, but clearly there was an effort made to change some things up and to improve on different elements of his swing and of his game in general and of his strength and all of it. So, look, he did not shy away at all from, the fact that last year was not a good year for him, and he was not happy with it and understood that he had to get vulnerable in the offseason and really go into the lab and work on stuff. So that's great to hear. We'll see if it translates. But look, I thought, and I also asked Jake yesterday about what he hoped the core of this team learned from last year. And he talked about battling through adversity. And he admitted that last year they didn't do that, so well. So hopefully that, I think that what I took away from him was, hopefully they learned a lesson, a valuable lesson as individuals, as a group, and what it means to battle through some adversity. So, look, again, with both those guys, Fernando and Jake, they were the two, quote unquote core players that spoke yesterday. Again, you're not going to hear a lot of negative stuff this early in spring training, but very good to hear from both of them. And I thought both seemed confident and certainly, they're saying all the right things.
I love it too, Sammy. And it's gotten each day when I hear from these guys, it gets me, a little bit more back in. Not that I'm not going to be watching every game, screaming at the TV, but and I, like you said, I do understand they're not going to come on and be like, yeah, no, we're just going to figure it out. I do like the work that they've been putting in. Certainly, it was a hard. Speaking of vulnerable, was in a text thread with a couple of baseball buddies last night, and these guys know baseball. They do. They both played at a fairly high level, and I had to admit to myself and to them that perhaps the great Bob Melvin was not the right man for this team last year. And it has taken me this long. It has taken me a lot of soul searching to look inside and go, great manager. The ratings we got back from everyone that played for him, 100%. But the San Diego Padres are different. It was a different thing. And I finally admitted to myself, you know what? Great manager. Don't know that he was the right fit for this team last year. I just don't know that he was able to right the ship, manage the superstars on this team. And every day when I listen to Mike Schilt speak, I go, okay, I can now see why this could be the right guy for this team. And it seems like the players are responding and they're coming together a little more than they did under Bo Mel.
Yeah, look, I think first on Bob Melvin, look, I'm with you in the sense of, as last season was going along, and I think you and Ben for the most part too. Look, I admittedly I defended Bob Melvin,
as did I,
because I felt like he was a veteran manager who had a track record, who had just led the team to the NLCS, and everybody was singing his praises, and you just couldn't tell me midway, even late through last season, that Bob Melvin was the issue, right? I just couldn't get there with it. Look, all that's done now. I mean, he went to the Giants, and now you have Mike Schilt. Look, I think for sure you can already see, just some differences in the way they communicate. I find Mike Schilt very honest, when we talk to him so far, and he'll really get into detail on guys and tell you what he thinks about, players and situations, albeit it's early here in spring training. But, look, I think Bob, at least outwardly, it was a pretty I don't want to say laid back in like a bad way, but right. Look, there was a nature of, hey, we've got these star players. They've got track records.
They'll figure it out.
This thing is just going to turn around. Okay. Now, whether Bob was saying that behind closed doors, I don't know. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. But at least publicly, look, I think we can agree that was sort of what it seemed like. Like it was, hey, this thing's going to turn around. We don't want to shake anything up. We don't want to, go turn over the spread in the clubhouse. Just let it happen. And look, Woodsy, we all kind of thought it was going to happen, and it just didn't. And if you want to count September, fine, but through the times where it really could have turned around, it just didn't. So, look, time will tell what Mike Schilt's style is. The things we've heard is that maybe he's a little bit more fiery than let's say a Bob Melvin. But we'll see. Look, it's also the second stop for Mike Schilt, and, we'll see how he adjusts, and he has developed as a manager, and I think right now in spring training it's really hard to judge, right? But, yeah, I mean, look, and I've said it to you guys, I said it to the midday show yesterday, everything so far with Mike Schilt, has been really impressive to me. Very detail-oriented. Everything you've heard from guys, Darvish, Musgrove, others, has been really, really good. And I'll tell you this about Mike Schilt, too, that I think has been really interesting to me. He's everywhere. And I think if you guys come out here, you may notice this. And I'm not saying Bob Melvin wasn't. Bob Melvin was on a lot of the backfields, too. But I've really noticed in the first few days of spring training that Mike Schilt is just everywhere. Like, he is out there on every backfield, even if it's a group of minor leaguers taking ground balls. He is out there. He is constantly talking to people, talking to coaches. I just see him a lot. Like, you know, and again, I'm not saying that Bob Melvin wasn't out there, but it's noticeable with Mike Schilt.
Sure.
Like, I'm just seeing him everywhere. To me, it makes sense. He's a player development guy, right? Going back to his roots of being a minor league manager and being an organizational guy for the Cardinals for so long, and is known to develop players. But I will say that stood out to me. I haven't talked to him about it yet to kind of get a sense of, you know, does he really try to be at everything? But to me, he has just been everywhere. So that detail-oriented player development mindset, to me, has already kind of shown itself. So, look, so far so good with Mike Schilt, and we'll see how it all transpires as we get into the year.
It's Sammy Spring Training live from Peoria. I will say, even from the players' perspective, we were out there a little earlier last year, and we sat down with a lot of the core pieces of the team, and there was a lot more me than we. There was, and we talked about it. We talked about it throughout the entire season, and this year, even in the first few days before every player's gotten there, it feels a lot more we than me, and it really does.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, looking back on it now, when you had players talking about positions in the lineup and things like that to you guys, I think even at spring training last year, you know, maybe that was a little bit of an indicator of okay, we're not really talking about the team. For sure, right now, when you hear guys talk, like Fernando Tatis Jr. used the word, I think it was togetherness.
Yeah.
And look, again, and I think we've touched on it, I think the sense you're getting is like, look, last year happened. This year, we've just got to play as a team. And it's not about, you know, who plays where, who hits where, but we've got to play as a team. And I know that sounds really cliche, but you hope that the words they're saying match what happens as the season gets started, and that there was a lesson learned from last year. No doubt everybody's saying the right things right now, and it's really easy to do that on February 14th. But, you know, it's about going out and doing it. And look, obviously it's a roster that has questions right now, but, you know, as these guys come in, Manny and Fernando and Cronenworth, and we'll have Bogarts here soon, and Kim, obviously, it does sort of remind you, like, okay, there are a lot of questions, but, man, if these guys who we know are really good, if they do what they're supposed to do, you know, this could be all right.
No
this
doubt.
It could cure a lot of the other questions. You know, if you have some spots where there are question marks and you don't know what you're getting right now, which is the truth, well, a lot of that may not matter so much if you have the guys that are supposed to be the stars be the stars. And that was true last year, and it's going to be even more true in 2024.
I'm excited for it, man. I every day that you're out there covering the team and the audio that I see and hear, that's all we can do as fans. I mean, nobody knows anything until the season starts. Again, I said it yesterday. Nobody had the Rangers D-backs in the World Series, man. Baseball's a weird sport. We know it. But so far, so good for the Padres. Sammy, enjoy your day off today. Get out there in Arizona, shake it up a little bit, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Maybe we're still on high alert here, so we'll let you know.
All right. Well, feel better.
Thank you, buddy.
And hopefully I get a chance to talk to you tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right.
Thanks,
Talk
Sammy.
soon, Sammy. Love you, pal. All right. Sammy, spring training. Joining Ben and Woods this morning, we had the boss come in. I think they may be sending us home, Paulie. We got maybe one more segment, and then I think we're going to run some potential best of or something like that.
I think have been working on very feverishly.
They want to fog this place. Listen, you don't want to be the show that gets everybody sick, but the sickness is going around. We all share the same equipment, so
I think you and me are going to handle one more segment.
Yeah, one more,
and then I have been pulling a bunch of best ofs from the last couple of weeks. We're not going to go crazy through the archives. We're going to play Stephanie Daly was great yesterday. Yep. We're still in the Valentine's Day mood, maybe a little Ben Reed's Romance.
Oh, I like that.
In the last couple of weeks, we've had some incredible guests, especially with our Tier 1 tour. We're going to replay Skip Schumacher, Matt Strom. Ruben Niebla joined us last week. He was phenomenal. So we're going to get to all of that. If you do want to stick it right here on 97.3 for the next 2 hours.
All right, good. Sorry about that, guys. You know, it's coming in. It's coming from higher than our pay grade. So
I mean, look, Adam asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to just do 2 hours? I'm like, coming in cold with no segments planned for 2 hours?
I'd actually like to hear that, my friend. So, no, we'll be right back. And then I think we're going to get out of here. They're going to send us home. And fog this entire disgusting place. Radio stations are gross, man.
Petri dish.
They always have been. They always will be. We'll be right back. It's Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I was going to say we're halfway home on a Thursday, but they're going to come in here and fog, literally.
We're like 95% way.
Yeah,
home
they're
on
going to
Thursday.
literally come in here and fog this studio. It's Ben is pretty ill. He did make it home, the big guy, so he's okay. Made it home. We will split after this segment and run some best of, some interviews and stuff that we've done. Sorry about that. I hate to let you guys down. I think you know that about us. We would much rather be here together than to have a show like this, but, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, out of our control. So
You say it every morning. Got to get your head right.
Got to get your head right.
And our heads are not right.
It's
now.
really, really. Somebody asked if we could keep the feed on to watch the fogging of the studio. I don't think so. I think we need to shut the cameras down.
JR actually gets nude when he fogs the studio, so probably shouldn't have that going on.
It's super fun.
Oh, God.
Super, super fun, guys. Some bad news I saw out of Orioles camp this morning, man. What a bummer for them. Kyle Bradish, who is one of their pitchers, has been diagnosed with a UCL sprain, will begin season on the disabled list or the injured list right now. I don't know. He got a PRP injection. He began a throwing progression. He'll open the season on the IL. Gunnar Henderson, who is one of their superstars as well, he is behind schedule due to an oblique injury. This is what happens, man. We talk a lot about, teams that are poised to make a jump. And I hate to give them credit, but the Dodgers they had so many injuries last year, and they had such depth that they were able to figure out all the injury problems and still win 100 games last year. That's why depth is so important. I think it's what has Padres fans kind of on the edge of their seats, because not only do we not have a ton of depth right now at a lot of positions, we don't even really have legitimate starters at certain positions. So you are really on pins and needles, crossing your fingers, hoping that everyone gets through spring training.
Even with stacked lineups over the last couple of years, we've had bench concerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's the depth looking and all of that? We had really good rotations over the last couple of years, and you're like, we still could use another arm or two. I mean, we're like, okay, who's DHing?
Yeah.
Who's playing center field?
Yep, it's exactly right. I mean, is Profar going to...
Who's on the move, and then what are you going to do with that position?
Right.
Like, oh, God.
I mean, I'm seeing, I'm seeing a lot of teams in baseball right now having a hard time addressing that. And when the injuries start to mount up, your depth is tested. And a lot of teams trade depth for other pieces. And then, that guy gets hurt and you're toast. So you really are. You're on pins and needles waiting with bated breath to make sure everyone gets to the Korea series healthy. And if somebody goes down, man, it's hard to plug those holes. We've seen it so many times as Padres fans, make the playoffs, and we literally ran out of pitching. I feel like we've run out of pitching in every single playoff appearance that we've had in the last few years, and it's just not something that you can count on. So obviously more depth is better, which is why everyone's a little bit nervous on the edge of their seats right now. And just because the Orioles are prospect laden and they have a good starting lineup right now, and they have a good rotation, they traded for Corbin Burns, et cetera. You guys start dropping like that, and we'll see what they're made of. There's a lot of people picking them to win that division again, but not if these guys continue to stay banged up and they don't come back. So we will see how that plays out. You just hope to God that everyone comes through, that Manny is ready and healthy and ready to go, and Fernando stays healthy, and Jake stays healthy, and all these guys. You count your lucky stars if they do. So that's kind of where we are at right now as far as the injury report out of Major League Baseball. As far as the Ben and Woods injury report, I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. Ben needs to start feeling better. Certainly, we all are under it and fighting it right now. Paulie, do you want to play real or fake before we get out of here? Do you have it? I haven't seen it because Ben doesn't send it to me.
I have
he does
set up. If we want to get a caller on,
all right,
we can do that.
And we can give away a prize. Let me get you guys the prize for real or fake. The prize for real or fake today, if you win it, is what? It's something.
It is a trip to Las Vegas. Well, you qualify for a trip to Las Vegas.
There it is.
Got it?
Is that the Take on Woods prize?
Yes.
Same thing. All right, so all you got to do is call in, guess whether it's real or fake. Easy game. It's basically 50-50 shot, and you'll qualify for a 2-night stay at Westgate, Las Vegas, 2 tickets to Air Supply with a legacy spanning decades. Air Supply, I'm not going to read all that. I do?
Yeah.
With a legacy spanning decades, Air Supply continues to captivate hearts. Now in their 45th anniversary year, The duo continues to play more than 130 shows a year worldwide. Join us in celebrating their music and enduring legacy on May 31st and June 1st, 2024 at the Westgate International Theater at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. The Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of the legendary Vegas Fun. Ben doesn't read that every day.
Yeah, he does.
He does not talk about 130 shows a year.
Sure
I think
does.
you pranked me there.
No, that's the copy.
Call us now, 833-288-0973. We'll play Real or Fake. We'll get out of here. So, anybody on the line wants to play?
Yeah, I think we got a caller here. Let's just get to it.
Some are here for the compelling sports. Go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Just told you what you were going to win today. It took me 20 minutes to get through that read. Qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Who's on the line, Paulie?
We got Nick here.
Nick, good morning, my friend. How are you, bud?
What's up? It's Baseball Nick.
Baseball Nick, did you know that
Nick.
Air Supply plays over 130 shows a year? I did not know that. I've never heard that on our radio station before. I think Paulie is lying to me there. All right, so you know how the game's played. All you have to do is guess real or fake, bud. Very, very simple. Paulie, if you would, you have all of the. You have to host this thing. I'm just here to help.
Yeah, it's just absolute chaos right now. We shouldn't have done this.
That's all right.
So
I like chaos.
Let's see. Did everyone? I'm going to read Ben's email that he sends me, so I know the answers. Did everyone have a good Valentine's Day? It's Ben Higgins, Channel 10. If not, perhaps you're eating the wrong foods. Today on Real or Fake, Ben came up with a list of foods and beverages that, according to Cosmopolitan, have aphrodisiac qualities and can help boost your libido.
Okay, I know
All
about
you need
some
to
of
do
these.
is separate the real from the fake. So
Easy enough, Nick. You can ask me. You can ask me for help.
give me 1 second here. I'm doing so many things now.
Sorry about that.
Adam came running in.
This is an S show of epic proportions.
It really
It's amazing
really
anyone listens
is.
to this dumpster fire.
All right.
Sorry, bud.
So we will start. Let's see. How about avocados, Nick? Avocados. Do those have aphrodisiac qualities?
Avocados,
I'm
real
gonna go-
or fake?
I got real.
That is right.
Perfect. 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
I'm going to keep
you need
score.
4 out of 7 to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas. Walnuts.
Walnuts, real or fake? Baseball Nick.
That's fake.
Fake. Wrong. They're real.
That is real.
Does
according
he have
to
any
Cosmopolitan.
notes?
No, he does
No?
not.
Okay. That's great.
He has notes for a couple, but not for that one. Let's go with figs.
Figs.
That's real.
Agree.
It
Yes.
is. They are high in amino acids.
Amino acids are good for your. They are.
Okay, good to know. Let's see. How about bananas?
That's real as well.
I say fake on that one. Yeah, it's fake.
It's fake.
Oh, boy. You're 2 for 4. All right. Batting 500. Let's go. You got a few more.
All right. Honey.
What do you got?
I think it's real, my friend. I think I've heard that before. Honey is real.
Yeah, let's run that.
Honey.
Honey. Yes. One
High
more.
in boron.
The show is boron today. 3 for 5. All you need is one more. Baseball Nick.
All right. Let's go with, let's see here. Geoduck.
What is that?
Oh, it's on his list.
I'm going to go fake based on that's not a real thing.
That sounds made up.
No, it's not made up, but it is fake.
Geoduck. Well, you're a winner. We got a winner. Baseball Nick. You've qualified for a trip to Las Vegas to go see Air Supply. I am in desperate
like
need of
a-
Air Supply right now.
Species of large saltwater clam.
It's a clam. I have never heard of a geoduck in my entire life. Baseball Nick, hang on the line. Paulie will get your information, and I'll get you qualified for that trip to
Is that like
Las
is that-
Vegas.
Is that just like spelled like geoduck? It's a gooey duck. I've heard of gooey ducks.
Oh, Purple says it's pronounced gooey duck.
Okay.
Yeah. Geoduck.
So I'm the idiot.
That's fine. You listen.
Either way, it was wrong.
Listen, you're not the same real or fake host is Ben. Nobody is. He's really good.
He wanted to say gooey duck.
He did. And he is really, really good.
He thought that would throw you off.
At hosting
gooey?
it. I have never heard of a gooey duck in my entire life.
You see them on the beach. They hide in the sand.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was just like a clam. It's a type of clam. All right. Well, we have absolutely devolved as we have been known to do before. I don't know if we will be back tomorrow. I really don't. I mean, we'll be back when we can be back. If Benny's feeling like he was today, if we're all feeling like we were today, I don't know that they'll let us come in, right?
Probably not. My guess is that we will not be here tomorrow.
That's my guess, but we have surprised you guys many times before. We will try. We absolutely love doing this show, as you know, and we are not just dumping into CBS Sports Radio to hear about, Steve Wilkes getting fired from the Niners and, all of the NFL talk and that's probably just crushing the airwaves right now. We are going to play you guys some best of Ben and Woods, and we will hopefully feel better tomorrow, and we'll be back. Thank you guys for hanging in. We are very, very sorry. We love you. But Annie and Elston will be here in a couple hours. Hopefully the studio will be nice and clean for them. We will get our S together, and love you guys very much. Thanks for hanging in with us here on Ben and Woods. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe not. Tune in and find out, I guess. It's the long radio tease. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.